Hello, everyone, and welcome back. As always, I'm your girl, Candy Washington. And before we dive into today's Kiki, which is Ronald Richards calling out the fact that Erika Jayne was slammed with a $2.7 million tax lien by the California Franchise Tax Board. Oof, I mean, it's heating up, and also how this plays into the rest of her allegations and situations. But before we dive in, you know what to do. Go ahead and like this video, subscribe to my channel, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss it when we go live. Also, be sure to share this with a friend because a kiki is always better with community. Check out our description box down below and shop our love collection. So with that, you guys, let's dive right on in. So this is from Ronald Richards. As we know, Ronald Richards, he's been on it. He's gotten some backlash or, hate or whatever because he's very vocal online with Twitter and Instagram and talking to YouTubers and podcasters. But I'm here for it. I think the more transparency, the more honesty, the better, because without people talking about it, we wouldn't know about it. And if we don't know about it, they're not going to be held accountable, right? So let's talk about accountability a little bit, and then we'll dive into the situation that Ronald Richards is exposing now. So as we know with Erika Jayne and Tom Girardi, there are the allegations about the fraud scheme, him, scamming and scheming his clients who were victims out of millions and millions of dollars. Like, we all know that. And we all know that the dominoes and the chips are starting to fall all around Erika Jayne Girardi. She's a hot mess. She has shown no remorse. And honestly, she's really hard to watch. But let's get into how the dominoes are falling around her. For one, with the CFO, of Girardi Keese being arrested, that's huge. They always arrest the people around the big fish in order to get more information, in order to make them flip and roll, in order for them to turn evidence against their co-conspirators. So the fact that the FBI, had this criminal fraud charges against the CFO, and then they actually arrested him is huge. And that's not a good look for Erika Jayne Girardi and Tom Girardi. As we know, Tom Girardi is hiding out in a nursing home, just, sort of living out his days. And I don't mean that in a negative or dark way. I mean that in a realistic way. He is in his 80s. Allegedly, he has dementia or whatever's going on with that. In my opinion, do I think maybe it started as a cover? But again, he is in his 80s, so maybe it's becoming true. I don't know. Could just be a front and a fraud and a cover. Could have some beginning of it. But again, Erika Jayne Girardi has revealed that she talks to him every day. He was still talking to clients. He only got disbarred a couple of months ago, this past July. So up until then, he actually still had his legal law license, which to me is ridiculous. In regards to that, don't forget that the California State Bar came out and said he had over 200 complaints against him, and yet he was still allowed to practice law. So basically, they knew he was a fraudster. They knew he was scheming and scamming, but he probably gave them money. He probably had people in his pocket. He was very powerful. He had the power to appoint judges and everything else. He was paying off people. It's just a mess, but it's just a mess. But the fact that he is arrested is huge. That domino is falling. The fact that the California State Bar is publicly coming out saying they messed up and exposing all of the complaints they had against Tom Girardi is a domino falling. And I think one of the biggest dominoes to fall is the fact that Donald Alway, who is rumored to be Tom Girardi's love child with his ex-secretary, ex-mistress, had to recuse himself. He was one of the top LA local FBI officials, and the FBI officials who were designated to oversee the Girardi fraud case would report to him. So I don't know how you do your job and you be honest about your job when your boss is allegedly the love child of the man that you are investigating. When your boss is living in a $1.2 million home that was funded with victims' money from the man that you are investigating, when your boss's mother was the man you're investigating's mistress for years, and ex-secretary. I mean, I don't know how you get a more clear definition of conflict of interest. But again, like I said, which is why I'm happy people like Ronald Richards are talking, the LA Times exposed it. And once it got exposed, he had to recluse himself from the situation. Now, this is the thing. If I were the FBI internal affairs, which I'm not, but if I were, I would be doing a deep dive into Donald Alway. I would be like, why did you transfer from, because he used to work in Mississippi, but he recently transferred to LA. My biggest question would be why? Was it random? Did he ask for the transfer? Was this always in play? Because I find it highly suspicious that a man who is an FBI agent in Mississippi randomly transfers to LA to, albeit $1 million house, but to live with his mother when he's a grown man, to live with his mom, and to work in LA in the exact jurisdiction that is investigating his alleged father's fraud and crime. Why did he transfer to LA? If I was FBI internal affairs, that is the question I would be asking, and I'd want to get to the bottom of it. I don't know if this Donald guy has a wife, does he have kids? I don't know the situation, but why did you move from Mississippi to move to LA to live with your mother to work in the jurisdiction that's, investigating your alleged father? And if not your alleged father, then definitely your mother's ex-lover, ex-boss, person who paid for the home. Why did he do the transfer? That needs to be investigated. What also needs to be investigated is the allegations that Erika Jayne switched the $750K earrings. That's also coming out, that they were appraised for much lower than what we all thought they were worth. At one point it was 750K diamonds, then all of a sudden it was 1.2 or 1.3 because, they appreciated or whatever. But then the appraiser said, no, it's actually worth a lot less. Was this a bait and switch? Did she say, oh, I'm going to turn over the earrings, but then she turned over the wrong earrings, right? That needs to be investigated. Ronald Richard had those receipts. That needs to be investigated. But now let's talk about what Ronald Richards is now exposing. Now, according to him, he says California Franchise Tax Board issues tax lien for $2,777,343.23 against Erika Jayne at Erika Jayne. This is for her 2019 taxes only. At what point does she accept culpability here? She has to pay taxes on her income like all Americans. Hashtag Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. Hashtag no special treatment. Now, this is in alignment with what I always said. And then he posted the receipt. And don't worry if you can't read it. I'll read it for us. So don't worry if you can't read the fine print. So let's read the fine print, and then I'll say how this was always in alignment with what I always said. So this says, notice of state tax lien filed with Los Angeles, certificate number, blah, 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 blah. The Franchise Tax Board of the State of California hereby certifies that the following named taxpayers is liable under Part 10 or 11 of Division 2 of the Revenue and Taxation Code to the State of California for amount due and required to be paid by said taxpayers as follows. Name of taxpayers: Thomas V. Girardi, Erika N. Girardi. FTB account number, blah, 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 blah. Social security number is not even going to go there. Last known address, that's on there. For taxable years, 2019. Total lien amount, $2,277,343.23. Further interest and fees will accrue at the rate prescribed by law until paid, that the Franchise Tax Board of the State of California complied with all of the provisions of Part 10 or 11 of Division 2 of the Revenue and Taxation Code of the State of California in computing, levying, determining, and assessing the tax. The said amounts are due and payable and have not been paid. Said lien attaches to all property and rights to such property now owned or later acquired by the taxpayer. In witness of the Franchise Tax Board and of the State of California has duly authorized the undersigned to execute this notice in its name, and it was dated for October 15th, 2022. Well, damn. And it was officially filed on October 17th, 2022. Now, this is the thing. I have always said from day one, if we can't get Erika in the court of law, they're gonna get her with what? The taxes. The IRS, the tax man always cometh. It's the way they got Gotti. It's the way they got a bunch of those, like, I don't even know, like gangster people and all that stuff. They get them with the taxes. If they can't find a way to get them on the actual fraud, they'll get them with them frauding the American people, the American government. The tax man always cometh. So I don't know how she's going to talk her way out of this. I agree with Ronald Richards. We all have to pay taxes. I pay taxes. We all have to pay taxes. And, and people are like, and this reminds me of the people who are like, oh, Teresa Giudice didn't do anything wrong. She just signed some stuff, blah, 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 blah. No, she defrauded the American people. When you lie about other crimes and all of that, like the public pays for that. Like we're paying for this, So the tax man, Erika Jayne, is slapped with a $2.7 million tax lien. Maybe that's why she's harboring these earrings. Maybe she needs to hawk them for some money. Maybe she's ready to do an insurance scam like Kyle and Dorit and PK and Mauricio. I don't know, to get this money up. Maybe she's patting the puss for some additional money because I don't think anybody is buying the extensions or downloading her music. So I don't know what Miss Erika Jayne Girardi is doing. Maybe she still has the Wells Fargo's bank account in Florida that they were funneling money to her through, ever since, that everything hit the fan. Her and Tom Girardi and their friend, I forget what his name is, that lawyer, they got together and opened up that Wells Fargo account in Florida to funnel her money to. Maybe they're going to funnel some money in for that. I don't know, but they're going to be looking into this. But the dominoes are falling and the chips are falling. You turned over the wrong earrings. We're on to you, Erika. Tom Girardi's alleged love child FBI agent recused himself, and now I'm sure that they're going to be even more scrutiny on the investigation. We're on to you, Erika. The CFO now has been arrested, and I'm sure he's going to flip on you, a la Stuart Smith when he flipped on Jen Shaw. We know what happened to her, right? And the tax man is on to you. That's the one person you're not going to be able to get away from. The tax man, he's a coming, and I hope he comes hard, and I hope he comes with a vengeance. But I want to know what you guys think. Do you think that this is it for Erika with the taxes? We finally got her. She will finally be held accountable. Or do you think she is going to find a way to lie and deny her way out of this one too? Let me know your thoughts down below. But before you do that, you know what to do. Go ahead and like this video, subscribe to my channel, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss it when we go live. Also, be sure to share this with a friend because a key is always better with community. Check out our description box down below and shop our love collection. With that, you guys, I'll talk to you later. Bye.
Welcome to Sugar Pills, a practical guide to self-care, where your host, writer, actor, and producer Candy Washington helps you live a more joyful life with a cheeky dash of pop culture news. Be sure to subscribe, leave a 5-star review, and join the conversation on Instagram @Candy Washington. Let's go!